at the Battle of the Bulge, where it was his responsibility to feed and to house 150,000 German prisoners of war that were captured at that time. He went back to Birmingham again, practiced law again, and retired up here and built this house right here. On July 4th, 1959, he gathered up some of his friends, brought them over here, and raised the flag to give thanks to those who sacrificed so that we may live in this wonderful country that we do. Now, this tradition has continued on, unabated, all these 57 years. Even in 1972, the house caught on fire, and we were not able to be here to raise the flag. Captain Cole, our next door neighbor, walked over here and raised the flag so the tradition would be unbroken. So today, well, last year at this time, Charlie Towers walked over to me and said, "John, next year, can you raise my flag, the flag that was in Tokyo Bay when the Japanese surrendered? Because this year will be the 50th anniversary of the Japanese surrender." And I said, of course, yes. Well, unfortunately, this past April, Charlie passed away. And he's not able to join us today. But his flag is here. And prior to his death, he wanted to make sure that we did raise his flag, and we're going to raise it in honor of him today. Now, I have with me the letter that he gave my father, and I'm going to read it to you. June 15th, 1987. Dear David, it begins to look like we may not get back to Cashers in time for the 4th of July celebration. I've asked Wanda Watson, who takes care of our place, to please give you the flag. If you decide not to use it, David, I will fully understand. It is quite dirty and tattered. We did the best we could to wash it, but since the material is over 40 years old, it was done gently and by hand for fear of the flag tearing or disintegrating. It normally happened that the ends of the flag became tattered as this one's from blowing in the wind. Unfortunately, smoke from the firing guns and engines caused the flag to get quite dirty. Just in case you decide to use it, I will give you a little history of its history. The flag flew at mast on the LCS, Landing Craft Support, 118, when it sailed into Tokyo Bay in September of 1945, on the morning that the peace was to be signed aboard the battleship Missouri. This took place just inside the breakwater and a few miles from Yokosuka. It was one of the thousands of amphibious crafts designed and built for island invasions. Many of these vessels, as did the 118, had stern anchors which were dropped as the landing craft approached the beaches. After the men, tanks, trucks, and armored vehicles, etc., were discharged on the beach, and hopefully no more than a few feet of water, the vessels were able to back off by using full speed reverse on their propellers and winding in the winch for the stern anchor, which had been dropped quite a distance back before the vessel touched the beach. At Okinawa, the 118 distinguished itself on the picket stations established around the island to intercept suicide kamikaze planes. It was credited with destroying 4 Japanese aircraft, including a 2-engine bomber known as Betty. For that and its other performance at Okinawa, which include going to the rescue of an LST, landing ship transport, which had been hit by a kamikaze plane. The LCS-118 received the Navy Unit Citation. A number of its officers and men were decorated for their performance on April 1st, 1945. By the way, Charlie was awarded the Silver Star. Easter and D-Day, Okinawa, and May 4th, 1945, when the 118 went to the rescue of the USS Luce, a destroyer, which was hit and sunk by a kamikaze plane off Okinawa. May we never forget those brave men who gave their lives in all of our wars so that we may say the Pledge of Allegiance today and be thankful for the freedom represented by those stars and stripes. I hope we will be able to be with you, David, on July 4th. If you choose not to use the flag or any of the information about the LCS 118, it's perfectly all right. With best personal regards, I am sincerely yours, Charlie. I'm going to give this flag, very special flag, to my son Jack and to my niece Hartwell, and they're going to take it over to my brother to raise the flag.